Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Namaste Village. It is Friday, which means we are coming to the end of a week of joining, a week of opening, and realizing that my only goal is the beloved. I'm looking at the lesson from A Course in Miracles today, which says, "You are my goal, my Father, only you." To have a single goal, a single desire, a single acceptance of that. That's what we're going to be sharing today. And I'm so blessed to have Reverend Johannes with us, with sitting next to me here. That's making me smile. I can't keep from smiling. So I'm going to just allow Johannes to take it from here and guide us in, and we'll start a discussion and see where it takes us. So go right ahead, Johannes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so blessed to be here. I have a spiritual teacher like you. You are also one of my spiritual teachers. And her name is Aishmal, and she sent me a letter. And I want to share with the community this beautiful letter that Albert Einstein wrote to his daughter. And I said, oh God, maybe you have heard these letters before, but you do. Yes, it's beautiful. So let us just connect all, as always, heart to heart, and to take these beautiful words into our hearts, because it's, practice is what really matters. And it says, in the late 1980s, the daughter of the famous genius Albert Einstein, Lizelle, donated 14 letters written by Einstein to the Hebrew University with orders not to publish their content until 2 decades after his death. This is one of them written to Lizelle. So he wrote the letter to his daughter. And it says like that. He says, when I proposed the theory of relativity, very few understood me. And what I will reveal now to transmit to mankind will also collide with the misunderstanding and prejudice in the world. I ask you to guard the letters as long as necessary, years, decades, until society is advanced enough to accept what I will explain below. There is an extremely powerful force that so far science has not found a normal explanation to. It is a force that includes and governs all others, and is even behind any phenomenon operating in the universe and has not yet been identified by us. This universal force is love. When scientists looked for a unified theory of the universe, they forgot the most powerful unseen force. Love is light, light that enlightens those who give and receive it. Love is gravity because it makes some people feel attracted to others. Love is power because it multiplies the best we have and allows humanity not to be extinguished in their blind selfishness. Love unfolds and reveals. For love we live and die. Love is God, and God is love. This force explains everything and gives meaning to life. This is the variable that we have ignored for too long. Maybe because we are afraid of love, because it is the only energy in the universe that man has not learned to drive at will. To give visibility to love, I made a simple substitution in my most famous equation. If instead of E equals mc squared, we accept that the energy to heal the world can be obtained through love multiplied by the speed of light squared, we arrive at the conclusion that love is the most powerful force there is because it has no limits. After the failure of humanity in the use and control of the other forces of the universe that have turned against us, it is urgent that we nourish ourselves with another kind of energy. If we want our species to survive, if we are to find meaning in life, if you want to save the world and every sentient being that inhabits it, love is the one and only answer. Perhaps we are not yet ready to make a bomb of love, a device powerful enough to entirely destroy the hate, selfishness, and greed that devastates the planet. However, each individual carries within them a small but powerful generator of love whose energy is waiting to be released. When we learn to give and receive this universal energy, dear daughter, we will have affirmed that love conquers all, is able to transcend everything and anything, because love is the quintessence of life. I deeply regret not having been able to express what is in my heart, which has quietly beaten for you all my life. Maybe it is too late to apologize, but as time is relative, I need to tell you that I love you. Oh. And thanks to you, I have reached the ultimate answer. Your father, Albert Einstein. Take a deep breath, Brother James Francis. Wow.
That's very powerful.
We are making a bomb of love
A
here.
bomb of love.
Mhm.
A nuclear bomb. Nuclear bomb.
A new, yes, a new clear. You have to be careful with me about those games in words in English. So I'm like, a new.
You know, one of the things that, can you turn back to the first page again? There was,
Oh, yes,
there was
yes.
one thing that sparked me that I want to,
This one.
okay. It talks about a unified theory of the universe. A unified theory. Now, what is a theory? A theory is an idea. A theory is a proposition that we hope to be able to prove, right? And I think we have come to the point now, and really what this is expressing is much more than a theory. And that's why we speak almost every day, not about theories of love or theories of grace, but the experience of that. Albert Einstein was clearly in the experience of what the most powerful force in the universe really is, the experience of love itself. And this is, as he is saying, the unifying experience that draws us together, in fact, has always drawn us together, in fact, shows us and reveals to us the truth that it is impossible that we not be unified. So the unified experience, it demonstrates the impossibility of not being unified. Do you see that? Now, that is beyond a theory. It's beyond the intellect. It's not something we can understand with the mind, but it's something we can know Clearly, he knew this.
Mm.
You can feel it in every word he wrote.
Yes, and he said it clearly. He said that the humanity was not ready for it, but I believe we are. We are ready. You know, it's interesting. You are talking about theory, and he mentions that there is a variable that we have ignored for too long, which is love. And it makes me think when I was in engineering school, sometimes there were one mathematical problem to solve, and it could take days to solve it. And we have been working for days or with 5, 6, 7 pages to try to, and there was something that everybody have ignored because it was too small. And then somebody had but why don't we see this? And in this little ignored variable was the answer.
Mm.
So that's what he's talking about. That is like we have ignored the variable, and which is love.
Mm. You know, as
Is
you're
it-
talking about that, I'm thinking about one of my very favorite movies of all time, Good Will Hunting. I'm sure most of you have seen that. Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Many times.
So here is Matt Damon's character, and he can solve problems like you were just describing. He can just look at it and know theorems that would take the
Yes.
brightest minds in the world days, weeks, or years. He can just look at it and he knows. And yet, this is all in his mind, and there is a huge wall between his mind and his heart.
Yes.
Right? He is very unhappy because he has past wounds and the inability to really give himself to love. So what comes along in that movie? Is it that somehow because he's so brilliant in his mind, he has achieved some high level of living his life? No, it's only when he encounters the character played by Robin Williams that he is able to break through, because in that moment he allows himself to be loved. He allows Robin Williams to just see him, to really see the truth with him, not this brilliant guy, not this tough guy from Southie. He is finally allowing himself to be seen and to be loved, and that's where he breaks through in his life.
Yes, he was able to express that was within him. Here it says, Einstein, each individual carries within them a small but powerful generator of love whose energy is waiting to be released, which is what that character did in the movie. At Unity, we say that we all have a spark of divinity within us, which is also ready to express itself.
Mm-hmm. The spark of divinity, which
Yes.
all it takes is the fuel for it to catch. And the fuel that we give to it, the oxygen that allows that spark to catch and to begin to burn and to begin to turn into a fire, which if we keep putting more fuel on becomes this burning inferno. We have people, like you are one, Vicky is one. There are many people here who, when you're in their presence, you feel that the heat from that fire. That's the unified theory that Einstein is, not theory, that's the unified experience, force that Einstein is talking about here. Yes, we all have that divine spark.
Yes.
And through the joining with our mighty companions, which is what we do here every day, we continue to breathe oxygen, coming together, just sharing as we do. That spark turns into a flame, which then turns into a fire, which then burns away everything that is not like it. And so it's so wonderful to hear someone who is so revered as one of the great intellects of all time, Albert Einstein, to break through himself and to see that, well, as it says in A Course in Miracles, come with wholly empty hands unto God. Let go of everything else. He's clearly letting go of his mind. He's losing his mind. Einstein lost his mind when he realized that only love is real. Love is the most powerful force in the universe.
And then another sentence that I love is when he says, I deeply regret not having been able to express what is in my heart. So let us not hold ourselves into expressing the people around us how much we love them. You see, so that he say, I deeply regret, like I should have expressed more this love that is within me. Then he says that it's maybe because we are afraid of love. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
We're afraid of love. Let's look at that one for a moment. Do you dare? I was speaking to, I'll just say, I was speaking to Karen yesterday, and together in our discussion, we realized that it's usually the people who are closest to us, our family, our beloved, that know how to really spark us and get us going and trigger us, right? If there's someone in our life who's a casual friend, more than likely they are not going to trigger our stuff all that much. If it's a close friend, good chance they're going to challenge us. If it's our best friend, or maybe a brother or a sister, a parent, a husband, a wife, you see how the closer and more intimate the relationship becomes, the more they trigger us, the more they have the possibility of getting us going. Why? Because each one of them is representing ultimately God. The closer the intimacy, the closer we are to the experience of the divine, or love itself, the source of all love. And the closer we come to that source, the more our fear is triggered and the more our stuff comes up. But this is also where the greatest healing can take place. Obviously, I was with my father just a couple of weeks ago. There was great healing that was taking place. I'm sure we can all relate to that. Being with our family members, there's great healing opportunity if we can hold still, not defend, not try and be right. That's something we've been talking about a lot lately. I don't know, maybe. I love you. If we can just love them no matter what, then we finally come to that face-to-face with God, the face-to-face with the divine, where the greatest fear. You see, most of us say, oh, I want God, I want to have an experience with the divine. And when you really look at it, the opposite is true. That's not the thing you want the most, it's the thing you're the most afraid of, until you can relax into that. Let that primordial, foundational fear that I separated from that which can never be separated from come, rise, look at it, see the impossibility of the impossible. It's like the story of the prodigal son. And then the father sees the son coming from a long distance and runs out to greet him.
Yes. As Einstein says, he says that love is a force that it multiplies when we give it and receive it. So that's the key. When you give love, it multiplies. When you open your heart, your arms to love, it multiplies. And so that's the key. Let us give and receive love.
Well, we're going to turn now to a couple of people who are expert at this. Victoria, you who are on fire.
Good morning, Brother James. Good morning, Johannes. And good morning, everybody. So, two things came to mind. There's a wonderful quote in the Course, and it says, future loss is not your fear, but present joining is your dread. And it's perfect because the answer is that we join and we lose our separate interests, our self-identity, and anything goes. When you love someone, anything goes. You just are open and you want that experience of union and love to allow it just to go where it will, and you'll follow it. The second thought I have a good example. That idea of a generator, that we're all generators of love, every one of us. There's no one that's exempt, and that when we love, and we can do it alone, but when we do it together, it's whatever that those numbers are. It multiplies quicker and faster. But even wherever we are alone, in our room, at night, in the day, walking through a field, when we extend love, it is impossible that it doesn't ripple out and touch everyone. Ripple. So this is a good example. The other day on our SIH call, um, someone, Diane, who's on this call too, I think, I don't know if she's here today, she said that she was having dinner with her friends out at a restaurant, and this big eruption of love just came upon her. She didn't know, just came like naturally. And she said to all the ladies she was with, we must take a picture. Let's take a picture quick and capture this moment, because it was timeless and it was just full of this unidentified love. When she went home and she was checking her messages and emails and stuff, she found that someone who loved her very much had sent her a message, a note, the very instant she felt that love eruption in her. And it was just a great example of the confirmation of love is what communicates. Don't worry if another body's in front of you or not. Just love them to pieces anyway. Love the strangers, love the trees, love, because love is literally the force that Einstein is talking about that multiplies itself endlessly. And if we dedicate ourselves to experiencing love, no matter what, we cannot help but be happy and rejoice in face of anything, because none of it is so. Love is so. And love is a knowing. When we are loving, there's no one that's going to convince you that that's not so. You know it with every fiber of your being. So live in the answer of love. And the generator, we're generators, just be generating wherever you are. Thank you.
Qué linda.
Thank you, Vicky. Teddy,
Thank you, James.
you're right ahead.
Yeah. I don't even know what love is, so I can't. um,
Oh, that's sweet.
I mean, it's true. I don't know what it is until you know what it is in the instant that you're in it. Um, but it is true that in the joining, it is, you know, what does it say in the course? So, the problem is separation, and we're separate from love, so we can't know what it is because you can't know what love is in separation. But the moment that you join, the separation is over, and there is what love is. And love is the totality of what reality is. There is only love. And the experience of it is beyond our ability to actually codify it all. What we call love here is pale in reflection of what love is in reality. And once you experience what love is in reality, that's it. You're done, because that's really all you want. And that's the nature of forgiveness. Forgiveness offers us everything we want. It offers us the ability to remember only love and to return to that reality, which is not here in space and time. The space and time is meant as a division, and division has to go before we can all be back as one in love.
Yeah, it's true. And Eddie says, I don't know what love is. The Course in Miracles actually says that it is impossible to teach love. That the only thing that we can do, or the Course, or it takes us to remove the obstacles we have placed to the awareness of the experience of love.
Yeah, it's funny how there is the ego and the soul always have opposing, or at least what is seen to be opposing, definitions and answers. So the ego looks at love and has its own idea of what love is, and its attachment, its need, It's getting. I'm going to get someone. And yet, it's in the release of that that we can begin to have a true experience of love. And as Teddy said, love itself cannot be experienced within the separate split mind, because the separate split mind is literally the denial of love. So you cannot experience love within the denial.
Mhm.
But it also says in A Course in Miracles to deny the denial. It's a double, it cancels out the denial. When you deny the denial, the denial is canceled, and we pop into the experience of love. Do you see that? That's why the experience that we describe here every day, the experience that Einstein is describing here, is not something we can get. It's only something that we can allow. It's already something that's there, but in order to welcome it, we deny the denial, we deny separation, and then that which never was is shown to be what it is, nothing. It's nothing. I thought it was something, but now suddenly I see through. It's like a movie set. I see through the movie set and realize that was not a house, that was not a real building, it was a facade. So what the world or what separation seems to show us is nothing but a facade, but we don't realize it until we have enough courage to walk through it. Any final remarks?
There, I was thinking about a prayer that we do in my Unity para Todos, my ministry in Spanish, and I have done it here, which is Abro mi corazón al amor. I open my heart to love. Abro mi mente a Dios. I open my mind to God. Mi alma es una con todo el universo. My soul is one with the whole universe. I just wanted to share that prayer.
I think that was perfect. That was like the cherry on top of the sundae. Can you do that one more time? Because it was so beautiful. I'd like to really welcome it.
Abro mi corazón al amor. I open my heart to love. Abro mi mente a Dios. I open my mind to God. Mi alma es una con todo el universo. My soul is one with the whole universe. Amen.
Amen. That's beautiful. Well, thank you. It was so wonderful to have you here with me. Well, you won't be here on Sunday because you and Jack are going to Puerto Vallarta for a week, but Reverend Diane is going to be doing the service on Sunday, so we're excited about that. Any final remarks before you guys take off for the beach?
Yeah. Remark from the service?
No, just anything you want to share before you head
yes,
off.
Jack and I are going to Puerto Vallarta for a week after a couple of weeks of moving. You know how moving is. I mean, everything it shows up and everything. So I will have each one of you, those who are online, and the whole Namaste community, which my husband and I love dearly. We will take all of you in our hearts. I wish we could take all of you and take you to Puerto Vallarta with us.
So do we.
But all of
Let's
you.
go.
And,
We have a
let's all
truck
go.
right out here. How many people can we fit? About 8 or 9?
And thank you, James, for being so willing to really walk the talk and to demonstrate love. Thank you so much from my heart.
Maybe that's why I started the service with that song, I Can't Keep From Smiling, because that's how I am whenever I'm with you and you and you and all of us. When we join together as we do in the certainty that love is the most powerful force in the universe, how can we do anything but smile? So let's go ahead and we will, Vicki and Teddy, any final remarks before we go?
No, I'm good. That's it. There is only love. And when we want to know that, you'll know it. If you don't know it, you're in the denial of it. And that's not a bad thing, but it's a tool you can use to remember.
Amen.
Amen.
That's good.
Yes.
I'm glad I asked that question. All right, let's share the screen and we'll do our final prayer. I'll ask everybody here at Namaste to stand up if you would. And let's do our prayer of protection. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Amén, amén y amén.
Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.